In August 2021, we saw a humiliating final act. In the American experiment on Afghanistan, a botched-up retreat after 20 years of war. The Americans left Kabul at the dead of night. The Taliban installed themselves into power and the elected leaders went out of sight. This included the country's president, Ashraf Ghani. He immediately fled Afghanistan. Immediately after the takeover, his sudden exit led to a quick collapse of the entire administration in Kabul. Interestingly, Ghani did not leave Afghanistan alone. At that time, the Russians had levied a serious charge against him. One of the officials at the Russian embassy in Kabul had said that Ghani fled Afghanistan in a helicopter stuffed with cash, quote unquote. Another report said that Ghani had so much cash that some of it had to be left on the tarmac. What sort of money was this? Was it from Ghani's savings, from his decades-old fortune, or was it bribe money? And this is a question many Afghans are asking right now. Courtesy this report. It was published last week by Italy's TG1 news network. The report says Qatar allegedly bribed prominent Afghan leaders a month before the collapse of Kabul. Bribed them for what, you wonder? For not putting up a fight against the Taliban fighters. You heard that right. This report alleges that Ashraf Ghani was apparently one of many who received these bribes. The report is based on alleged documents from Afghanistan, documents that allegedly depict the trail of bribe receipts. From Qatari officials to the corridors of power in Kabul, Doha says these documents are forged, but the news network says they are genuine. These are the allegations that have been made. 1. Qatar apparently paid Ashraf Ghani $110 million as bribe. Number 2, Afghan commander and warlord Marshal Abdul Rashid Dostum apparently received $51 million as bribe. And number 3, the former governor of Balkh province, Atta Mohammad Noor, was given $61 million as bribe. This money was allegedly paid to them in Kabul by a Qatari representative who had asked these leaders to not resist the Taliban. To further buttress its claims, the news network had published a detailed video. I want to show you a bit that stands out. It's apparently a letter written by the governor of the Afghanistan bank who allegedly claims receiving a gift for Ashraf Ghani. And what exactly was this gift? According to the letter, a check of $110 million. It was apparently received in the presence of Qatari officials. Now, how exactly do we view this? How legit are these claims? Can they be taken on face value? Well, Afghans living abroad certainly are, but Qatar is vehemently denying these claims. Have a look at this headline. Doha News carried it over the weekend. It says the leaked documents have been designed to discredit Qatar because it's highly unlikely that Qatari officials would give receipts for payments in the local language. This is what Qatar is saying. A war of words followed online. All sorts of allegations are doing the rounds. There are claims, there are counterclaims. But the big question is, has the Taliban responded to these allegations? Last we checked, it had not, and we highly doubt that it will. Meanwhile, next door in Pakistan, an outfit that carries the Taliban's name is unofficially waging a war against the Pakistani state. An outfit that has become a thorn in Pakistan's flesh. I am talking about the TTP, the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. It has conducted yet another terror attack, this time in Quetta. On Sunday evening, there was a blast in Quetta's police lines area. At least 5 people were killed in the explosion. This explosion came just days after a suicide blast in Peshawar killed at least 80 people. Remember, the Tehreek-e-Taliban, which has ideological linkages with the Afghan Taliban, executed more than 100 terror attacks in Pakistan last year. And just a few days into 2023, it is back to unleashing terror in the Pakistani state. And this leaves one wondering whether it is doing this on the instructions of the Taliban, whether it is Kabul that is behind this spate of terror in Pakistan. These are questions Pakistan needs to ask itself rather urgently. And coming back to Afghanistan, there is another report doing the rounds on the state of affairs there. It says a number of West Asian countries are either evacuating their diplomats or downsizing their embassies in Afghanistan. And why is that? We don't know. There is no official explanation or a statement by the governments concerned. The question, which governments are these? To start with, there is Saudi Arabia. On the 2nd of February, it evacuated the entire embassy from Afghanistan. And next we have Turkey. On the 3rd of February, it downgraded its diplomatic presence by pulling out a sizable number of diplomats from Kabul. And next, there is Qatar. On the 5th of February, Qatar also cut down its diplomatic presence in Kabul. On the 6th of February, the UAE took a similar step. It pulled out a sizable number of troops from Kabul. And in December last year, China had pulled out a host of diplomats and officials from Afghanistan. And this brings us back to the question, why are these countries pulling out their diplomats? Why is this happening? Saudi Arabia, for one, recently told Afghanistan's Tolo News that its diplomats had left Kabul for training. What training? This it did not say. So don't mind me asking, are these diplomats being evacuated in light of the growing terror attacks? Attacks that have become a regular feature in Afghanistan. Attacks that the Taliban has been unable to control. Does the evacuation of diplomats have something to do with this? We hope the countries concerned are able to answer this query soon. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.